This is episode 102 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we're not going to be talking much about me today.
Yes, so, as listeners will know, this weekend just gone, Sam and I attended the Welsh Open up in Cardiff. So, before we get into how we did, I just want to do a few shout-outs. First and foremost, to the face of Wales himself, Mr. Dylan Jones. An amazing event. Really enjoyed it. The store's lovely. It was a really great atmosphere. And also to Mark Hall, who TO'd it with Dylan. Both of them, like a really nice event. They've already announced next year's one, and I will be going. Yeah, really fun. Great prizes. Really good atmosphere. And off that, I'd just like to say thank you to all my opponents, because they were all fun games, all close games. And then I'd also just like to do a quick shout out to the Firecast Focus stream. A, for streaming the event. Pond and Dom were both down to stream, and great that they get it out there, and also specifically that they've allowed us to use the video feed to review this week's game, because we are looking at one of my games that I played on stream, and yeah, it's very much appreciated. So thank you. But yeah, should we jump into the event itself and just do a...
Yeah.
Go on, we'll do you first. It's fine.
All right. So I did not have the most successful event, to be honest. I ran my 8-ship droid swarm, and I feel like this is the power of hindsight. Probably wasn't a good idea. The chaff clouds hurt me more than my opponent most of the time. But yeah, I had some excellent games. I saw a lot of Republic arcs.
Fair.
I missed all the first order. That's probably because I was hanging around the bottom. And I ended up going 2 and 3 on day 1, and then I believe it was 2 and 2 on the day 2 side event. And it was an absolute blast. Thank you to all my opponents. Yeah, I don't know. I had a bunch of epic games. I can barely remember them at this point. Weirdly enough, but I just have this glow of it was epic.
That's fair. So in a twist to the normal large tournaments, I actually scraped into cut, which was fantastic. I've never made a day 2 cut at a big event before. It's a top 16. I finished 13th. I only finished 3 and 2. But luckily, 2 of my opponents also made cut. I played both Tom Reed and Kester during Swiss, and that helped drag me to the top. So yeah, snuck in. I played Kester round 5 in Swiss, the last round of the day, and he absolutely smashed me. And then got drawn against him in the cuts the next day. So spent the whole night going, joy. But actually managed to beat him. Top 16 and progressed to the top 8. Where, alas, my weekend ended. But a really good game. I lost to the eventual winner, John BL. And that's the game we're going to review today, is my top 8 game. I ended up taking the Rebel list that I flew against Sam last week. That's effectively Chris Burnett's list with one tweak. And it's good. And on that note, Chris, who also went to the event, taking near enough the same list as me, also made top 8. So it's a good weekend for the Tins.
Yeah, it was quite a good showing for the Tins.
Yeah. So let's jump into the game. So John is flying TIE bombers.
Imperial good stuff.
Like pretty much what's emerging as the standard TIE bomber list, I suppose. Jonas, Tomux, Major Rhymer, saturation salvo and barrage rockets, and then bomblets, and then some concussions on Rhymer. And then Boy Vader and Fifth Brother with brilliant innovation and homing missiles. And this is quite an interesting game because anyone watching on YouTube, I'm not sure that the dice cam was working. So we'll just go off the overlay for damage because we were quite bad at pointing out on the stream. We're also bad about forgetting things like we both forgot a console fire and a wounded pilot. We catch them all like during it, but in case you see some random dice rolls. But for me, from what I remember, and it'll be interesting to go back and watch this, I think I made 3 big mistakes that I won't go as far as to say cost me the game, but
made it harder.
Damn well contributed, yeah. So we are playing. Oh God, what did we play? Top 8.
Looks like Salvage Mission is on the bottom left.
Oh, it is there. It's down there. I couldn't see it. Yeah, we are playing Salvage, and I should have remembered that because it does become important. And basically, we end up with the objectives, as I'm looking at it, 1 on the right-hand side, just on John's edge, 1 middle, right towards my edge, and 2 on the left, middle, and then slightly towards John's edge. And then the rocks, which are all largish, basically circle the centre objective.
Yeah.
So I'm first player for this, and that's important because it means I have to set up Sabine. Not so important, but I have to set up Wedge and Hull before John places 2 of his bombers down.
Yes.
Because I've not had a chance to throw the Rebel list into the bombers, but I've played the bombers, and my general game plan was launch everything into range 1, try and kill something, trade it for.
At that point, you're just throwing more dice than bombers.
Yeah,
if
exactly.
it's not a missile, they can't saturation salvo.
Exactly. And try and make sure that the ship I inevitably trade isn't Han or Luke.
Yeah.
It's kind of the... But I should be able to, because if even if Han likely bumps into range 0 of 1 ship, and then likely has 2 range 1 shots.
Yeah.
Luke, if he doesn't get range 1, not ideal, but gets a torp, so there's a little payback for that. And then if I could get Wedge in there and Hull in there, Hull could get an APT off, Wedge can just take a dice away. You know, it's not unreasonable that I not initiative kill, but kill 1 bomber, preferably Jonas. They've only got 6 health. But as I say, I'm first player, so what I do is Sabine goes down just to the left of the objective closest to mine. She'll do 2 1-hards and pick that one up.
Yeah, makes sense.
Then I don't know where John's going to go. So I set up Hull to the right of the debris that's in between the centre and the close objective, so that he's got a gap to go into the centre if he needs to, and kind of angle towards where John's ships are. And I set up Wedge on my far left, so that if John sets up opposite me, he can turn in towards where probably the rest of my list will be, and just take a couple of turns, you know, slow 1-hard, so that I can get my ships together and joust.
Yeah.
And if he sets up in the other side, the A-wing's fast, I can try and get over. And that's mistake number 1. Because the A-wing is fast, but it's still going to take me 2 or 3 turns to get over there. What I should have done is set up, probably in my right-hand corner, because there's slightly more space on the right-hand side, with both Hull and Wedge. And then if John chooses to joust that by placing the bombs the other side, cool, I whack Luke and Han down. If he doesn't and sets up opposite, I still whack Luke and Han down there. But I've got my entire list to, you know, it's not a turn 1 or turn 2 engage with a straight joust, but it's he's got to come to my entire list.
Yeah.
Whereas spreading them out, I think, just handicapped me.
Yeah, because it does mean that he can probably get at some point fighting some of your list with most of his,
Yeah.
right?
And it does force me into some suboptimal choices, which we'll get to. So John then sets up his bombers in the space on my right hand side where there are no ships currently, and then he sets up Fifth Brother basically opposite Sabine. I set up Luke opposite the bombers because I'm going to put Han down there, and Tomix goes down with them, so all three bombers are together. I set up Han opposite that with the arc pointing to the front, and he sets up Vader just to the left of Fifth Brother and slightly further forward. So I hadn't clocked it at the time, but I've already made life a lot harder for myself than I needed to. But we'll get into the game, and yeah, Sabine does a 1 hard, takes a focus. So Fifth Brother does a 5 straight, which I was not expecting. And at this point, I don't actually I don't understand his plan, and I play into it. The bombers have all done 5 straights, because he wants to come in fast, which I'm fine with, because I've gone slow with Han and Luke to make sure I don't get a range 3 engage, which means I can then jump in the next turn, which means we're likely not getting a range. Well, definitely not range 3, and hopefully
not range 2. It must be a 4 straight because the bombers can't 5 straight.
4 straight. Wedge does a 5 straight and then boosts round because I need to start angling in towards his list, and it kind of presents a threat the next turn for Fifth Brother. Hull does a 3 straight because it's the fastest non-stress he can do. And I was like, oh, maybe I do a 4 straight and then do a blue maneuver the next turn. But actually, that's a 2 straight, so doing 2 3 straights just nets me the same result.
Yeah.
He focuses. The other bomber comes through. Luke does a 1 straight. Want to play it safe. Vader does a 5. And Afterburner boosts forwards. And then reaches for a lock and does have the Y-wing at range 3. So, getting into it, turn 1. And then Han does a 1 straight and double focuses. Spoilers, the only shots are Vader and Hull. Vader strips both shields and puts a crit through onto Hull with a range 3 shot. And it is a stunned pilot, I believe.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then I do nothing back in the return fire.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not ideal, but is what it is. Now here comes mistake 2. All the mistakes happen quite early on, so it's, in fact, turn 1, 2, and 3, I think.
Okay, well, let's get to them then.
So we roll off, and John is first player for this turn, which suits me great, because it means all it is I-5 bombers are moving before Luke moves. Sabine does a 1 hard and picks up the crate. What I should have done was shot forwards and gone behind my list.
I can see that, but I think, at the time, Sabine wants to pick up a crate, and you are, in theory, presenting threats so that Sabine should be ignored.
So this is mistake number 2. Hull does a 3 straight because of where Vader is. I was thinking Vader's going to 3 hard here and then barrel roll to get shots onto, or 3 hard, depending on exactly where he ends up. Not even need to, take a lock onto Han. Flank him. So I 3 straight. I focus. I precise astromech into a lock onto Vader.
He goes after Wedge or something, doesn't he?
What I think I should have done here is 3 banked Hull towards the bombers. Because I think it puts me down near that debris. But if they've come fast enough, I might get the APT off on them, even if it's obstructed. It's more dice going into those bombs.
Yeah, much more dice.
I've got the turret pointing out my left side, so if Vader comes down there, he takes a turret shot. All right, it's not great, but
it'll do. I mean, it's basically the same as your primary, right?
Exactly. And yeah, I think that's a big mistake because I think it would make a hell of a difference, and you'll see in a minute. Now, this is the suboptimal thing I was talking about. So I am an R whether to do a 4 or 5 straight with wedge. He's pointing right at a debris, but I'm like, I need to get in there. So I opt for the 5 because I thought it would be fractionally further back and I could boost inside that debris.
Yeah, but that does not look like you can boost.
It doesn't. I don't clip it, but it does force me into a barrel roll, so I can't focus boost. And I opt just for the barrel roll because I don't want to leave myself stressed in case I need to do, a 3 bank the next turn or something.
Yeah.
Fifth brother does a 5 straight past, and takes a lock onto Sabine.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think I should have clocked the possibility of that after the turn 1 5 straight.
Yeah.
Because alright, it's fine. We all know what he's going to do. He's going to home and missile me. I'm going to take the 1 hit. He's going to add the crit. I'm going to Beskar reinforce that so I don't take it.
You don't take it, but you'll drop the crate.
But I'll drop the crate. So Sabine hasn't actually achieved anything this turn. Or even, instead of the 1 hard, maybe like a 2 bank or something. Might still have kept me range 1, but put me further round away from the, through the debris and maybe out of arc. It's hard to tell, but yeah. I should have at least clocked the possibility of the double 5 straight.
Yeah.
Look, and I didn't, and that's on me. I thought he'd end up somewhere where Wedge's arc is pointing, and
I mean, you're not wrong there. Like, that is a safer play, but I think it seems like John had a plan and had seen the line.
So the bombers come in with 4 straights again, and all take focuses. Luke. Oh, I guess I am first player because I'm moving first. They must not have moved it. Luke does a 4 straight. I attack speed because I want to make sure that I'm not... Well, certainly range 2 of Reimer, who's at the front. And I still think I've got arc on Jonas at the back, so I take a lock. And then Tomix does a 5 straight and focuses.
4 straight. They can't 5.
4. Han does a 4 straight, which luckily only bumps into Reimer.
Nice.
So luckily, they got set up the same, but you know what Wiggle's like and movement. So Reimer ended up just fractionally in front of Tomix, which means I've got a range 1 shot into Jonas, and I've also got a range 1 shot into Tomix, which I'm happy with. I've got a range 1 shot into Jonas with a torp in from Luke. But if that Y-Wing was in there as well, he'd have an APT.
Yeah.
And I think Jonas probably dies to those 3.
I mean, he probably should.
And I don't think you could initiative kill the Y-Wing before, not with 1, well, even 2 shots. Well, maybe he's got 5. But I haven't left myself that option.
That would be a dice question.
That would be
because you haven't actually entertained the option. It doesn't matter.
Actually, it'd have to just be Vader because I think the bank in wouldn't even be in Tomic's arc because he's at the bottom. But yeah, Han obviously takes the red focus, gets a 2nd from Perceptive.
Yeah,
and then Vader 2 banks, which I didn't call in a million years.
Yeah, looks like he's just going for the splat on Hull.
Yeah, which sticks him range 1 of Hull and.
Looks like he takes a focus.
No, he doesn't. He picks up the crate.
Oh, okay.
He's picked up the middle crate. So Han goes first.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's pretty safe.
Yeah, Han goes first. He range 1s into Jonas, and I deal... Let's wait for the overlay. 1 damage.
Woo!
Yeah, so not ideal. I then range 1 into Tobex, I believe, and I deal 2 damage, including a console fire.
Nice.
Then Vader goes into Hull. Takes Hull down to 1 health. 1 health? Hang on, what was that? Oh no, 3 health apparently. I could have sworn it was 1 health.
I mean, I see 4 cards on him at the minute.
Yeah, exactly. So that's at least 2.
Yeah.
I have now a wounded pilot, a blinded pilot, a console fire, and I think a damaged engine. So don't quote me on the damaged engine. Can't quite see through the overlay. But yeah, that's not ideal. Luke fires his Torp into Jonas and does 2 damage.
Oof.
Yeah, it's not the.
I mean, I guess that is the risk, isn't it? Like sometimes
well, yeah, exactly.
The relationship is going to roll 2 evades.
Yeah, and I believe
it looks like he spent his focus.
Yeah, I believe the 2 damage was because 1 was a direct hit.
Oh,
so yeah, yeah, he has spent his focus, which is good. So I believe Thomas goes into Luke, and oh yeah, sorry, this is where I clicked. It'll be back. Don't worry. Hang on, we'll just wait for the overlay to update. I'm guessing bounced off it.
It looks like attacks are being made in general.
Yeah, sorry, it's quite without the cam, and we were concentrating on the game because obviously top 8, so we weren't really thinking about the stream and stuff. So it might just be easier if we get to. Well, we got to the 4s, so I'm guessing. Thomas took 1 shield offhand.
Yeah.
Sabine takes a hit from 5th Brother from the homing missile. Beskars the thing away, drops the crate. So yeah, that's not ideal, as that's my point, but at least she's still alive, so
yeah, that is very
good.
True.
Hull rolls for his console fire and takes a damage.
Lovely.
I'm convinced I'm on 1 now, despite what the overlay says, because I can see 5 cards. So I believe Tomax rolls for his console fire and takes 1. I'm
sure you'll get to it.
I'm pretty sure I go into Vader with Hull and do nothing. And I believe that's it. So the end of that round, Sabine's taken 1, Hull's down to 2, and Han's taken 1. I've got Tomax down to 3, Jonas down to 3.
Like, this is pretty close. Like, the bombers are bleeding.
Yeah. It's just, I just feel like 1 damage from a Pro Torp and dice are dice.
I mean, I think that's the thing that people forget about, like, double-modded Pro Torps. Like, if your opponent is rolling 2 greens, they could literally just take 2 damage.
Yeah. Or 1
and that just is the way of...
1 if you end up with a blank still. But this is turn 3, mistake number 3. I think.
Is this Wedgington?
No. It's Han. Because we know the bombs are coming. Like,
yeah,
bombs are coming. The bombers are going to 5k.
Yeah.
And yeah, here's us doing some idiot checks. And John is first player for this turn. So I'm just going to 4 straight Luke, attack speed, and get him out of range of the bombs.
Yeah,
he can 3 Talon the next turn. The bombers can't get back into range that fast. It's all good. In fact, I actually make 2 mistakes. Technically 3 mistakes this turn. Which is quite interesting. So yeah, here got the bombs, the 2 bomblets, and the concussion. So my first mistake. My first mistake is with Sabine. What I should have done with Sabine is 3 harder to the right or barrel roll to the left and 2-harded to the right.
Why exactly?
So, to try and get the block onto Fifth Brother coming through either the barrel roll and the 2-hard to get the block, and then present an arc down towards where Vader has to go. Alright, it's probably not going to do much, but at least it's plinking and shooting something. Also, 3-hard, maybe I get range 3 onto a bomber, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it can't hurt, right?
But I don't. I try and get greedy, I suppose. And the mistake is a classic Shaw mistake. Underestimating a barrel roll. You'd think by now I know how far a one.
Oh, you're going on that rock.
You damn straight I'm going on that debris as I 4K onto a debris.
Oh, you 4K'd as... Oh, okay.
So I'm double stressed.
That was awkward.
I take the crit.
Even more awkward.
It is a disabled power regulator.
Even better.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'm double stressed. I'm doing a blue maneuver the next turn anyway. Yeah. What it means is like on one bank.
True.
So
if you were alive.
If I'm alive. I am.
Well,
alive.
I bet John didn't expect you to be there.
He did not. Fifth Brother, 3 banks, right in front of Sabine. If I'd been a fraction further to the...
Darn about that pesky debris.
I know. I'd like to say it's close. I don't even think it's that close is the problem.
It didn't look that close.
No.
I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, no, I got greedy. Like, what I should have done is boosted to the left if I wanted to do that. Boosted to the left.
Yeah.
I'd pretty much be where Fifth Brother is now, give or take. Maybe a bit further forward. And then, and then dialed in the 3K to make sure I didn't go on the other debris. But, hey. Fifth Brother just boosts. Because, it's not getting shot by Sabine.
Yeah, he could probably pick up a crate next round. Here's the 5Ks from the Bombers.
5Ks from the Bombers.
No one is... To the shock of no one.
Wedge does a 1-hard to start presenting an arc to somebody. And I take a focus. And Hull does a 1-bank because I'm trying to ditch the stress from the precise astromech. And takes a focus.
Not fixing your console fire.
I did not fix my console fire.
Risky.
That's because I forgot my console fire. Because I don't know if we'll catch it.
Fair.
I don't know if we'll catch it going at this speed, but there's a moment I go, God damn it! As John's moving one of his ships, and he looks up, and I was like, No, sorry, it's not you. I just realised I should have repaired the console fire. Luke does his 4 straight. He attacks speeds. I think I'm out of range. I don't think I'm in range for a target lock, so I just take a focus. Vader does a 4K, isn't it, on Vader?
I believe so.
To sit behind Hull. And then here is, I think, the big mistake. I mean, Sabine's not ideal, but she's also 2 points and doesn't do much. So I do a 2-bank with Han. Which gets rid of the stress. And then I boost.
No, should have focused.
So, yeah. I boosted because I thought it would get me out of range of one of the bombs.
Yep.
And it does get me out of range of one of the bombs. Oh no, Han hasn't taken a shield. I'm being a nitwit. I keep thinking a 6, so Han was undone. So Han is untouched. Alright, I take a concussion, and I'll take a strain, but the bombers are shooting me unmodded at range 3. Possibly where I was obstructed. Worst case scenario, I lose 4 shields.
And that's a massively unlikely because your hand near a rock rolling red dice.
Oh, I didn't re-roll my die. Oh no, I did. Hang on, the one I take, I think I rolled 1, which is why I didn't re-roll. But yeah, that's a very good point. If I'd rolled 2, I re-roll. So
yeah.
I think the 2-bank...
very unlikely to take 5.
The issue with the 2-bank was it put me near that debris, but actually I think a 2-hard to the right would have been fine the next turn. And I could just kind of circle back round. Like, I think
Yeah.
there's enough space there to too hard, too hard, too hard. Or worst case, I hard turn into the set to go over a debris.
I mean, I hate to be like the ninny, but like you just saw that a one bank from your two bank worked, right? Because you just did a two bank and then a boost. So you two bank double focus. Next turn, one bank double focus. Like the bombers are probably following you, and if they're not, then fine. Han takes a turn out.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think the two banks are the mistake. I think trying to get out of the bombs was the mistake, and it's the stress. I'm not even sure the boost is necessarily a mistake. It's the stress. If I was running engine upgrade Han, I don't think it would have been so critical. But you will see the stress severely hamper me for the next few turns.
Yeah.
So yeah. So the bombs do go off. It's just Han who takes a concussion, and I take one shield and the damage underneath. I take the strain because I'm not flipping it.
Yep.
So we do a quick scout, and it's Vader range something into hull. And didn't have the lock because he spent it last turn, I think. And he either whiffs or maybe Hull was on 2 there. Hull's on 1 anyway, so he's still alive. Han has no shots. Luke has no shots. The bombers all go into Hull unmodded, and he tanks it.
Nice.
Yeah, go Hull. Hull goes into Fifth Brother at range 2 out the turret, and Fifth Brother dodges. And Wedge has a range 3 onto Vader. Oh, I think Vader went into Wedge, and nicked a shield off him.
Yeah, looks like someone's lost a shield there.
And Wedge goes range 3. We're just checking for bullseye. It's close, but just out. Wedge plinks 2 shields off Vader.
Nice.
Go Wedge.
Go Wedge. Wedge is always useful.
I should have mentioned that last turn John nabbed a point because Vader is holding that box, and nabs a point this turn as well. Oh man, I'm watching this back and thinking of so many things I could have done differently.
Yeah, but this is the power of Captain Hindsight when you're not in the moment.
Yeah,
like, there's no point. There's very little point dwelling on the things you're thinking of now, unless they're like you see a really obvious thing that you missed, and that's something you can look out for. Because in the moment you'll see like 2 or 3 things you can do, and you just have to pick between 2 of them. Whereas now you've had a week, and you're going to see like 15 things you could do.
So another concussion comes out because
he has to.
Tom's got to. Ryan's got to. Curves towards away from the board and does nothing. Sabine does her 1 bank and removes 1 stress.
Yay!
Wedge does a 5 straight and takes a focus.
Brave.
I was hoping to if Vader had gone slower to get a block, and if the bombers had just gone straight, maybe I catch a flank.
Yeah, that's true.
So Hull does a 2 hard. And I repair my console fire. We did roll it last turn. We went back, and he was fine. What? That's what. No. Okay, so what I thought was a mistake wasn't a mistake because I was thinking I should have 4K'd there. I did remember looking at that, but remembered I probably should repair my console fire. So that's fine.
No point in 4K'ing for a sick play if you then die to a console fire.
Yes. Jonas does a 2 bank onto the debris.
Looks like you're not the only one who can rock themselves.
And takes a crit. Because the debris were lethal in our game. And he takes a... something. Something pilot, I think. Blinded,
Wounded pilot. Wounded pilot.
That's it. Okay. By the way, we do clock later on in the game that I should have rolled a dice for the repair of the console fire because I have a wounded pilot.
Oh,
and we do catch it. So if I slap a stress down, that's what it is. If no stress goes down, I must have been fine. Fifth brother does a 2 talon. So all right.
Nice.
By Sabine. He's
Either by Sabine or if Sabine doesn't die, he goes high hull.
okay. So Sabine's got 1 health. He's got a lock on her and a homing missile.
Oh, fair. I didn't know he still had the lock.
Yeah, oh yeah, because I took it last time, remember? So,
Yeah.
like, sure, roll your 4 dice, but I'm still probably dying. Luke does his talon roll.
Sneaky cheaty Beskar.
It's gone. Went on the first one.
I know, that's why I'm saying cheaty Beskar.
Why
just rewrite it quickly, add some more charge and say it cancels homing missiles, honest.
Alright, fair dues, fair dues. The rest of the bomb is also 2 bank. So actually I'm not too disappointed with Wedge's position here. Alright, he might take a couple of barrage rockets, which I wasn't expecting, but I'm not getting initiative killed, and I'll get a range 1 shot onto somebody.
Yeah.
And take a dice away. And then Han, who does a 2 bank to ditch the stress. And I'm guessing I focus. I wondered whether I should hard turn there to give myself a bit more.
Maybe. I think it's neither here nor there.
I think at least that way I'm out of danger, and because I'm gonna at this point I'm gonna have to turn into battleships. I'm gonna have to rotate at some point.
Yeah.
So like my thoughts were the next turn I hard turn in, rotate. While I'm probably still not in range, because I won't be in range of an obstacle either. So
yeah,
want to play it safe. Vader does go slow and bumps into Wedge, so that's quite nice. Han doesn't have a shot, and Vader, I think, whiffs a range 0 into Wedge, I think, but it doesn't do anything. So here are us checking some ranges. I'm shooting, so I'm guessing we've got.
Hope Wedge is shooting that range 1 shot.
Yeah, I'm guessing Tomac shot and just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'm guessing went into Wedge and didn't do anything. So yeah, Wedge range 1.
Looks like nothing's happening on the overlay, but we'll see what
I think I've
taken
taken 1 off Jonas, because Jonas is down to 2.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Like, none of mine are doing big damage. It's just plinking 1 through on the bombers.
Yeah.
This is Fifth Brother rolling his homing missile into Sabine, and unsurprisingly, Sabine dies.
Yeah. That is.
And here come the bombers back at Wedge, and they kill Wedge. Despite Wedge having a focus, and them having... Well, 1 had barrage rockets, 1 had range 1 unmodded. Yep, so that's Wedge gone.
I mean, that is just the flip side of the A-Wings, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But I'm like, alright, this isn't going... I mean, it's going...
It's slowly drifting out of your control, I think.
Like,
for as long as... Because, like, Luke is there, and he's really powerful, but I feel like as long as the bombers are still, like, alive...
This is the problem.
It's getting trickier and trickier.
Like, the bombers have 18 health between them. And I've done 9 damage. It's just
spread over
out.
all 3. Yeah.
Because none of my attacks are punched hard enough to do serious damage. And
you are like me against your T70 list.
Yeah. So I'm like...
You're finding it difficult to target one person.
I'm only another 9 damage away from 10 points.
Yeah. Just got to get it.
But also, you know, holes on 1, so...
Let's be real. Hole probably dies this round.
Yeah, probably.
Like, if he doesn't, I'll be surprised.
Okay, so we roll off, and I am first player. And here comes the last concussion. Out the way safely. Hull does a 1 bank. He focuses... No, I repair the blinded pilot, I believe. And then precise astromech... a lock onto Fifth Brother.
Optimistic. I like it.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to die at this point anyway. So like, and
maybe fifth bro makes a mistake and goes fast.
Well, and also fifth brother can't. If he does go, can't deny me the APT.
True.
I don't get a second stress from wounded pilot, so that's nice. The bombers bank. Jonas banks through the debris he's on and takes a focus. I think that's Reimer behind him, banks onto the debris and takes a crit, which is a panicked pilot. So three debris, 3 crits. And so that is 2 turns in a row where John is not going to have one of his bombers shooting. And if Han had been there having shots, I just feel I could have capitalised on that.
Yeah, I think if Han had had 2 more shots and they'd have been mostly modded, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I say mostly modded because the Han reroll, like, is iffy, but like you'd have double focus and the rerolls. I reckon you'd have taken 2 of the bombers off.
I reckon I'd have taken at least one of them. Like, probably Jonas at this point. Like, even the last one, if it's through the rock, cool, I got trick shot, so we trade up. Like, yeah. I generally think it's possibly that boost that not cost me the game, maybe cost me the game. Fifth brother does a 2 straight, but even then barrel rolls to make sure he's not range 1.
Yeah,
Luke does a 2 bank to ditch the stress, and I think I take a target. Yeah, I take a target lock onto. I think it's Jonas, because at that point I'm like, right, if it's range 2, I torp. If it's range 1, I just throw 4 dice at him.
Yeah, makes sense.
Han does a
too hard double focus.
Oh no! So I did take an action last turn. I rotated my turret ready for this turn.
Fair.
Nice. Yeah. Han 2 hards and takes a double focus. And then Vader does a 3 bank.
Luke's in trouble.
I mean, he hasn't got a lock on Luke.
I just mean there's like a lot of shots, and if Han and Luke's shot doesn't come up with the money, we've all seen Luke die.
I mean, yeah, Luke is in full health though.
Yeah,
if I don't kill one bomber here, like Jonas did. But anyway, Han goes into Jonas and kills Jonas.
Okay, there we go.
Which is a little sad because now I don't have a taunt to launch at someone.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And maybe I should just lot Reimer instead. And if it's worst case scenario, I could flip for the instinctive.
Yeah.
Vader has, I think, a range 3. I think he goes into Luke and plinks a shield off Luke. So then we go to the 5s. And Luke goes, I think, into Tomux because they're both on 3 and he's the only one shooting at me.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing whatever I did no damage whatsoever.
Yeah.
Nor caused a focus spend. So I then take a barrage rocket back into Luke, which strips another shield. And then it's just the Grand Inquisitor, not the Grand Inquisitor, Fifth Brother and Hull to trade shots. I do one shield to Fifth Brother, and I don't lose Hull.
Looks like you dodge the Hull, the shot.
I'm still alive.
I'm not dead.
Not yet.
But so this game's still in hand.
It's 10-4, but I mean, Hull's going to die, and I'm pretty sure Luke's going to die.
Yeah.
Is the issue.
The game is still technically in hand, but it's a lot easier for John to win here.
Yeah. But it's like, if I played better, I think at least one more bomber is dead at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, and then I think I make another mistake here.
Yeah, it's hand missing. It's hand missing out on those 2+ shots, right?
Well, Han missed
Like
out.
this-
Han missed out on 2 rounds of shooting, so that is
Yeah.
4 possible.
Well, no,
shots.
I was saying 2+, because we know that the 2, and then depending on what you did on your move after the 2 bank and you didn't boost, I don't know if you
Yeah.
got any shots. So
Yeah. So, we roll off, and I'm first player for this turn. Do our idiot checks. Oh no, maybe we haven't done that. And hold us a 1 bank because I got to ditch the stress.
Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
And
Focus
I
or
repair the wounded pilot, I think.
Nice.
Fifth brother bumps into Hull.
All right, so Hull's definitely dying this turn because we all know it's the range 0/1 that gets you.
Yeah. Takes the red focus. It's a. I think it was too hard from the bomber. It's still triple stressed. Luke does a 1 straight, which does clear. I shouldn't have done this. I should have gone fast. I should have done at least a 3 straight.
Get the attack speed.
Well, it's not even. I don't think I can attack speed. I think Vader's in the way.
Oh, yeah, true.
I didn't want to go too fast because I was worried about bumping into Vader. But actually, if I go past the bombers, I'll take range 0 with Vader. Also, to be fair, in the time, I wasn't expecting the bombers to turn towards Luke. I thought Vader might. I thought the bombers might try and go after Han, but
Ooh,
Or-
yeah, no.
or because Reimer's triple stressed, I thought he'd just go straight, ditches the stress.
Yeah.
Because he's not firing a barrage anyway.
Oh, yeah. Like, no, my thought was like Luke is the easy points here after Hull, and that gets him to 17. 18
So, yeah.
even.
I should have gone fast.
But hey, you do dodge.
I do dodge. I think Reimer still has the back of me. Han 1 banks in, double focuses, and Vader 1 banks into Luke and takes a lock on him.
Yeah, this is the painful one.
Yeah. So I range. I think it's range 3 obstructed into Reimer with Han, and I take him down to 1.
Nice.
And then the only other shot is Vader. Sorry, we're marking to see if it's range because it's close to see if I have 3 obstructed into Tomax.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm more likely to do damage that way than Vader. But it is just out. So I go into Vader.
Makes sense.
I take the last shield off Vader. And then Vader nukes all 4 health off Luke in one go.
Vader. So this is what A New Hope should have ended like.
Yeah. Like,
all because Han took a turn out of shooting.
I knew there was a chance that I 1-on-1 with Vader. But also, you've got to go off like dice odds, and dice odds are on 4 health, 2 greens, 4 reds, I don't die.
Yeah. Take a heavy chunk.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah.
Take a heavy chunk completely. Like, probably survive on 1. But like Luke had to roll 1 bit of paint, and Luke did Luke things.
Luke did Luke things. I
Plus-
like how rolling blanks is a Luke thing.
Well, Luke either rolls blanks or just lives forever. He doesn't do an in between. But because I was thinking, okay, I can get the shot with Han, and I can get a range 1 shot with Luke.
Yeah, that would have gone quite nicely.
That would have gone nicely, and then Han comes in and tries to plink off the other damage. Yeah, I probably lose Luke the next turn. Like, Fifth Brother comes in and plinks the last damage off but at least I'm trading up in points there.
Yeah, and you're getting parity back.
And 10 fall down at the time. I've got to make those plays because I can't just afford to not do damage anywhere.
Exactly.
But no, Luke dies before he manages to get a shot because I'd taken a lock on Vader.
Oof.
So, double mod it. Well, I had to.
Yeah. The force.
Especially after where Reimer had gone.
Yeah.
I knew the likelihood is I'm only taking the Vader shot. So I got 2 greens and 2 falls. There seemed no point taking a focus. So
yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah, take the lot, but I die. Hull dies to the range 0 because Yeah. And doesn't do anything to Fifth Brother in return. And that takes him up to 20, gains a point, 21-4.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's holding 3 crates.
Yeah.
He went up to 18, and he's holding 3 crates, 21-4. Oof. But Reimer's almost dead. Tomax is
I'm like
bleeding.
4 damage
Vader's
off.
half.
Yeah, 4 damage off another 6 points. Yeah. More damage off Vader. Like, yeah, just
like it's closer than the points would seem. I think you just like from my perspective, you made Han is the carry of this list essentially. Like Luke seems like Luke is big and scary, but Han is the person who's going to deal all the damage, and he just took too many turns out of shooting.
Yeah, because he didn't shoot for 2 turns and then had a really poor shot the turn after.
Yeah,
and yeah.
And I think that is actually what it comes down to. I don't know if you end up winning if Han is still shooting. I think it's bloody close.
Oh, yeah. Do I win?
John played this well.
Oh yeah, I'm not taking anything away from John. I thought he played incredibly well. I mean, he must play well. He went on and won, and I watched the final. It was a good match. But I don't. Apart from those couple of big things, I don't think I played.
No, and sometimes that's just the way
it's all it is, isn't it? It's because I think things like if I hadn't boosted, I think one of those bombers is probably dead before Wedge dies.
Yeah,
which means Wedge probably doesn't die. Which then means Wedge can sloop in the next turn or chase after Fifth Brother, and it's. I know it's all ifs and buts, but that's why we look back at it. I think I knew, not at the time, but I knew the moment I was setting dials for the next turn that boost had cost me, and watching it back, it really is. It all boiled.
Yeah. I think it did cause it. I think it's hard to say. I don't think it lost you the game as such as it made your opponent's choices easier because Han was relatively ignorable,
which therefore lost me the game because
well, you know what I mean. Like it's not like the direct thing that like cost you.
The other ones, they're like the turn 0 and the choice to not bank hole in. I felt while they're mistakes, they were recoverable mistakes.
Yeah,
I don't think Han's boost away was. I mean, I did as much as I could to get him back in, and it shows it wasn't recoverable. And you can see me there, literally pointing at the screen, going, "That's where I lost it." But because I got the gauge exactly where I wanted, Han was range 1 of that debris, and but no, it was a good match, really good tournament. I mean, it was well, before this tournament, I'd played the list 3 times, so
woohoo!
It was interesting. I've now trebled that. Got some nice plastic cards for it. I like the plastic Predator.
Yeah, the plastic cards do look cool.
But no, it's interesting. So we've got our store event, obviously, in 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And I'm probably going to take this list to a degree. Sabine is losing Beskar because that time I procced it against Fifth Brother was the only time I procced it all day.
Fair.
And I found myself making suboptimal choices to make sure my front arc was pointed at things in case I took a crit. So she's taking Lone Wolf.
Yeah,
because
Lone Wolf makes sense. She wants to go sit on her own.
She wants to sit on her own, and if she's not on her own, she's no worse off than having Beskar and it not proccing. So
that's fair. Yeah.
I'm debating whether I keep Trick Shot on Han.
I mean, I think it's fine.
It is fine. It's whether I take that or whether I take Engine Upgrade. I think probably I keep Trick Shot because I didn't boost that much. But the big one
isn't Ray. He's not. The thing is, every turn you're not double focusing is probably a waste of a turn almost.
The big one though is and spoilers. Sam and I've just recorded a game of this for next week's episode. I'm considering dropping both Wedge and Hull, and bringing in Chopper and the Ghost.
Yeah, see, I think that's a decent trade.
Like, I lose the 5 ship flexibility. Health wise, I go from 12 combined behind 3 greens and 1 green to 14 with no greens but a white reinforce.
Yeah.
But what I do gain is 4 dice out the front with a dorsal turret and a double tap, and 3 massively crit conversions.
And you're stacking Saw on it.
Yeah, so you get Saw, Veteran Tail Gunner, and Veteran Turret Gunner, and Dorsal Turret. So if you sit range 1 in front of me, I'm throwing 8 dice at you.
Yeah.
And all my focuses are becoming crits.
Nasty, yeah.
Like, yes, it's going to die.
But it's going to take something with it.
Well, that's it. Can I trade more than 6 points for it? Can I lob it at your Ray and... Maybe I don't kill Ray with just the Chopper, but, you know, plink a couple through with Luke or Han and then finish off with Chopper.
Yeah.
Like, is there a lot that can lob it at Vader? Does Vader want to sit there and take a lot when he's sat range 1 in front of the Ghost?
He most certainly does not.
It presents a different challenge. It makes some scenarios slightly harder. I think it makes Assault probably easier because you make sure Han's near 1 and the Ghost is near 1, and then your opponent needs 3 for those.
Exactly.
Salvage is fine. Han and the Ghost, and you try and get Han, the Ghost, and Sabine to pick up 1. Actually, I think it does alright. Like, Scramble, you just accept you're not reinforcing that turn and claim.
Like the way that you claim and you say, cool, if you want to get this, you're probably bumping me because... Or if you're taking it, then you're not modded, and I always am modded.
Yeah, exactly. And then chance is chance, so... Yeah, I'll play it a few times, and if I don't think it's as good, then I'll just revert back to this.
Yeah, because you know that one works.
Because I know that one works. But no, it will be interesting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I am pivoting away from the 8 ships. I'm just not sure where I'm going yet. Trying out a salad similar to the one that Mr. Tom was using at the event, but changing the stuff I don't like for the stuff I do like, which probably makes it worse.
I mean, that's the Sam Cooper way, right?
I mean, it works.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or I might just go quad ships and Wat Tambor because I actually had success with that, and then I convinced myself not to do it.
I was expecting you to rock up with that for our game earlier, to be honest.
I wanted to try the salad and just see how it felt like, because I played a bit of a salad for the extended event day 2, and I quite liked the Dirge and CAD combo, but I was playing them kind of like a psychopath, which is probably why I went 2 and 2, because I essentially just rammed them up the guts of my opponents, and sometimes the proton cannons caught my opponent off guard, and sometimes it didn't, hence the 2 and 2.
Fair. That is fair.
Yeah, maybe I do just commit to doing gunships because I just like the list.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
I think it works.
Yeah. Right. Well,
we'll see.
On that note, I think we've nattered on about our.
Our mixed success.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
tis your day of glory.
The ironic thing was you in the car on the way up. Talking about buying stuff and stopping each other buying stuff, and normally I want to buy all the stuff, and Sam's like, "No, Sean, you shouldn't." And this time it was the role reversal, and I said to Sam, "I was like, oh, this feels like a little bit of role reversal." He's like, "Yeah, maybe this time I won't make. I'll scrub out, and you'll just get into the cut." And lo and behold, it did. So
here we go.
So yeah, if you could be a little bit more sassy each time, that'd be great.
Nah, you've had my sass. We've had the role reversal. Time to come back.
Fair. Okay, on that note, we will wrap it up, guys. Just a quick note for anybody who is in the vicinity of the Southwest, we do have our our store event on the 15th of July down in Truro in Cornwall. It is the official store kit, so there is a world's invite up for grabs if you can make it down. Come join us. All the details are on the Twin Squadron Facebook page. Should be a good laugh.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, come have a game.
Yeah. And on that note, we'll say see you next week.
And ta-ta.
No, we won't, because I would just like to say one more big thank you to Dylan, to Mark, and XL Squadron for the excellent event they put on. It really was enjoyable.
Cannot wait for the next one.
So much so, I even convinced my wife to come to the next one. So
yes. See, now that means we're both not going to make cut, and she's going to win.
Yeah, probably.
You know that is the way it's going to go.
That is the way. We'll see you guys next week.
Ta-ta.